Hello everyone and welcome back to this tutorial about relational database. So how tables are linked in a relational database. As we mentioned before that a relational database consists of tables linked to each other by a specific relationship. First we need to know what is a table. A table is the database unit where data is stored in. For example, let's have this table and we have these data. We call a row here in a table or a record where a data related to one person or one object is represented in that row. So for example, let's say that this is information about a customer and we have the customer name, surname, day, this is date of birth, so day, month, year, telephone, cell phone. So this information or data is about one person, so we call it a row or a record. At the same time, we call this as a column or attribute. So the column or an attribute where you save or store a data from a specific type. For example, the first column or field or attribute, we call it name, where you save the names of all customers in your database or in your table. The second column where you save the all data about the surname for all employees or clients. Third one is about the day, date of birth, the month, the year. So simply we call this row is a record and we call the column is a field or attribute. How are tables linked in a relational database? We come back to the same question by using primary and foreign keys. So what are primary and foreign keys? Primary and foreign keys are constraints. Constraints in database is kind of tool. It's one of the objects that has a specific use in a database. So the use of foreign key and primary key is to connect tables with each other. So let's have a look at this example, this database. Let's say that we want to take one relationship between two tables. And let's focus on the relationship between these two tables, categories and products. So let's have a look at these two tables, products and categories. In the products table, we have these fields. Each field represents a piece of data or information about a certain product. So the first one is the product ID, the second one is the product name, the third one is the supplier ID, the fourth one is the category ID, and so on. So each of them is a column or a field, and the data is stored under each of them. So under product ID, we got the product ID of all products that we have, and under product name, we have the names of the product, and under supplier ID, we have the supplier ID of the suppliers, and under the category ID, we have the category ID. And the category ID represent the category that the product is belonged to. For example, if we have a milk here, let's say we have a product name milk, the category ID, let's say is 1, and 1 is food. Let's move to the categories table. In the categories table, we have the category ID, the category name, description, and picture. So we have category ID in these two tables. But the difference between them is in categories table, category ID is a primary key, while it is a foreign key in the products table. For example, when we start inserting the data in products table, we can put product ID, product name, whatever, and when we reach to category ID, we cannot put the category ID unless it is available in this table. Otherwise, if we try to put anything is not available here, we will receive an error or a warning saying we cannot save the data. So first, we need to fill the data in this table, the categories table, and after that, we can start filling the data in a product. So that's why we call category ID here is a primary key, because the data should be inserted here before it can be inserted in the products table. So when we create any field as a foreign key, it will search for the value from the other table that has the primary key. Let's have a look at this example. We have here two tables. The first one is customer table and it has information or data about customers, like customer ID, first name, last name, email, and phone. The second table is about orders, the orders of each customer. And these tables are connected with primary and foreign keys. So let's first have a look at the primary key. The primary key here is the customer ID, because the way that we can connect these tables is through the customer ID. And here, as you see, that is the foreign key. Every customer here has an order or more than an order. For example, the first customer here, number 1, John, has an order here, number 1. So you can see that the number 1 is a foreign key. So that's how these two tables are connected or linked. So it is primary key here, but when you come here to put the information or insert information about a certain order, the order ID, order date, and when you come here you want to put the customer ID, you should put a customer ID from here. We cannot bring any customer ID from anywhere unless it's available in these customers, because first you need to have a customer and after that you can make an order. And you may ask why we cannot combine the data about customers and orders in one table. And the simple answer for that, this is one of the primary or basic rules of the relational databases. Each table should contain data about a certain object. For example, customer here is an object. It is an independent object. And orders is another independent object. So that's why we have two tables, and they should be connected by primary and foreign key.